Imagine walking through the streets of ancient Rome or exploring the inside of a human heart. Not in a textbook, but as if you were actually there. This ISNT science fiction at S, happening right now in classrooms around the world thanks to virtual reality. Hi, and welcome back to Channel Name, where we explore the future of learning and the technologies reshaping education. Today, we dive into how VR is transforming how we teach, how we learn, and how we understand the world. Chapter 1. The state of VR in classrooms today. So, how widely is VR being used in education? According to a 2023 report by Hellenic, global investment in immersive edtech including VR and AR has surged past $3.9 billion. Major tech players like Meta, Google, and Lenovo are partnering with schools. Platforms like Classfer, Engage, and SE Space are already in thousands of institutions worldwide. A recent EdTech survey found that 76% of U.S. educators believe VR will be a mainstream tool in the next 5 years. From K-12 to vocational training to universities, VR is no longer just a novelty. It's becoming part of the educational DNA. Chapter 2. The pedagogical power of VR. So what makes VR so pedagogically powerful? At its core, VR enables experiential learning. Instead of passively receiving information, students interact with concepts in real time. Cognitive psychologist Dr. Richard Meyer found that students who engage in spatial learning environments, like VR, demonstrate up to 30% better retention rates than those using traditional media. It enhances engagement, empathy, and conceptual understanding. For example, VR scenarios that simulate life in refugee camps are used in social studies to build emotional intelligence and cultural awareness, things a textbook can replicate. And in STEM subjects, virtual labs eliminate the risks and costs of physical experiments, letting students safely test hypotheses over and over. Chapter 3. Use cases across educational levels. Let's break down how VR is being used at different educational levels. Elementary and secondary. VR makes abstract concepts tangible. In early grades, apps like Google Expeditions let kids travel the world. Middle and high schools use VR for interactive science simulations and virtual field trips. Higher education. Universities like Stanford and Arizona State use VR in psychology, archaeology, and engineering. Medical students practice surgery using platforms like OSSO VR, which has shown to improve surgical performance by 230%, according to a 2022 peer-reviewed study. Vocational training. From automotive repair to emergency response, VR offers hands-on skill building in risk-free environments. Organizations like the World Skills Foundation are integrating VR into global workforce training programs. Chapter 4. Challenges and limitations, but with great promise comes real challenges. Cost. A classroom-ready VR setup can range from $400 to $2,000 per student, often out of reach for underfunded schools. Accessibility. Students with certain disabilities may not tolerate headsets, and many VR environments lack inclusive design. Health concerns. Prolonged use can lead to motion sickness or eye strain, particularly in younger children. Teacher training. A 2023 OECD report notes that 61% of teachers feel unprepared to integrate VR into lessons. Despite growing access, ethically, as VR becomes more immersive, concerns arise around data privacy and digital surveillance in educational environments. Chapter 5. Future trends and what's coming next. So what's next? Experts predict a shift from basic VR to extended reality, where VR, AR, and AI converge. Imagine adaptive VR scenarios powered by AI, customizing lessons based on how each student interacts in real time. Haptic feedback gloves will allow students to feel what they touch, like the texture of a virtual brain or the vibrations of an engine. Companies like Meta and Unity are investing heavily in cloud-based VR learning, making powerful simulations accessible on lower-cost devices. And researchers at MIT are exploring embodied cognition, using full-body VR tracking to reinforce kinesthetic learning, a breakthrough for physical education and special needs learning. Conclusion. The takeaway and call to action. Virtual reality is not a silver bullet, but it's a powerful new tool in the educational toolbox. When thoughtfully implemented, VR can make learning deeper, more equitable, and endlessly more engaging. Oh, are we ready to move beyond the limits of the blackboard? If you're a teacher, policymaker, or a parent curious about how to bring VR into your learning space, start the conversation today. Comment below. What subject would you love to experience in VR? Subscribe to Tech Think Machine for more insights on the future of education.